Hi, and welcome to M&M Reviews. I am Rita,
And I am Miraj.
and this is our video about predicting what's going to happen in the final episode of WandaVision.
That airs like 11 hours from now, 10 hours from now. Crazy. No, 12, whatever. It airs tomorrow, soon.
It was like 15 hours.
15 hours from now. 15 hours from now. I always wish it sooner, But here we are, 15 hours away from the finale. So what do you think will happen, Rita?
No, you give your prediction.
I gave my prediction. Okay, well, I will think that what is a given at this point is, among other things, that the secret actor Paul Bettany was referring to was himself. I also think it's like quite clear that the mind-blowing cameo Elizabeth Olsen was referring to was Quicksilver. Because, that was pretty mind-blowing to me, at least. So I think those things are clear. I also think it's clear at this point that there's not going to be any, like, X-Men related stuff, really. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there is any natural way for them to introduce it. So maybe they're planting some seeds that are going to germinate into the X-Men reveal later. But it's definitely, I don't think it's going to come through in this explicit.
Yeah. I agree with that. What else is like clear that is going to not be kind of the case? Well, I think it's clear that it's like not going to be like a Mephisto reveal at the end.
Yeah.
I think that's like pretty clear. Which is not to say that there won't be like any villain like above Agatha, but I think it's clear that it won't be Mephisto. I think they would have brought that in sooner. Okay. So, in terms of prediction, I think there's like two scenarios, really. I think one scenario is that, well, let's call this the good scenario, which is that, well, not like the good in terms of like quality, but the good in terms of like Wanda's outcomes. In the good scenario, there is a big fight. She defeats Agatha, who I think in either scenario, it's quite clear that Agatha is seeking to like drain Wanda's powers. And in this scenario, she defeats Agatha, and also Good Vision defeats Evil Vision, or like merges with him, and she actually gets to live like happily ever after with, like, or not happily ever after, but she gets the like happy ending of the show. And then the reason that they in the previous episode had this like long backstory where they showed all of Wanda's past was to reignite this like, or like garner sympathy for her, to make us think that she hadn't just like mentally raped all these people, so they can reintroduce her as a hero into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But if the good case for Wanda happens, then I think it will be the case that like Agatha will drain a sufficient amount of Wanda's powers as to either perhaps herself become like a major villain, or in the episode of draining the power there is this like effect on the multiverse, because Wanda is this nexus being, and perhaps when the drainage of power happens, they open up some doors to multiverse, or she drained the power to like summon some being. I don't think it will be Mephisto, mainly because I think they would have introduced him already, and I also think that won't fly in the Chinese market, but perhaps it will be a Nightmare. So in the good scenario, there must be like a villain introduced at the end, I think. What do you think about that?
Definitely, because this is like building to Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
Right, so there has to be something emerging. And as I've also talked about before, this is like not just about WandaVision, right? But it is about the new phase of the MCU. So it's really about opening up new avenues for stories and character development. So to me, it feels like something must emerge from this. You know, it can't kind of just conclude in a satisfactory way. Like, I don't think WandaVision is kind of a self-contained show.
Yeah.
That seems unlikely to me.
Yeah. But this good scenario, and now I realized I should have classified it as something else, is actually also simultaneously the bad scenario, because it would be kind of anticlimactic if it ended this way, right? It would just feel like kind of like poo-poo if, you know, Vision came back and she had this like happy ending, because it would like cheapen what happened in Infinity War, and it would cheapen Endgame, and it would also like cheapen like just like literally the feeling of this show, you know.
Yeah, I think for me that's the main thing, is that they have been building up, especially with the last episode, this woman who is, you know, profoundly full of grief, shaped by grief, devastated by grief, so many losses. Each time she finds the strength to keep going, she's really knocked down. So while you do want her to be happy, it also feels anticlimactic.
Yeah.
If the situation is just resolved by saying, well, we're just gonna take some of her powers away, so she's a safe person now, and this breakdown she had, creating this area, accessing these powers, creating children, recreating her dead lover, was a grief phase that lasts a week, and now she's ready to go back.
Yeah. That
feels like it would be kind of making what she's been through in the show very insignificant to me.
I agree. Obviously I agree because I said it and then you agreed, but I agree with you agreeing.
I'm so happy. Imagine if you disagreed.
Yeah, that would be wild.
Well, now that you agree with me, I actually realize how stupid it is.
No.
I'm just saying that would be wild, get sad.
Oh yeah. Okay, but luckily for us and everyone watching, I think the bad scenario for Wanda, aka the good scenario for us, is much more likely, and I think this is how that will play out. I think there will be like this big fight tomorrow. I think they will prevail in the end, right? But I think like Wanda's kids and Vision will probably falter at the finish line. They won't.
Oh, the kids and Vision.
Yeah, I think neither the kids and Vision will make it.
That is a very Protestant thinking, that Wanda, she has to pay for what she's done.
Yes. And I think Agatha will be like thoroughly defeated. I actually think like that, like kind of like Wanda will like disintegrate.
Wanda will disintegrate.
Disintegrate Agatha.
Oh, disintegrate.
Yeah, Agatha will be thoroughly defeated. I think Wanda will disintegrate Agatha. I think like the way in which Agatha dies will be like really like, you know. And I think the reason for why they gave us, as you noted in the last video, I think you noted in the last video, the reason why they gave us this whole like backstory of Wanda where they build sympathy for her is because of the fact that they're setting up her to be the big bad of the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I'm actually thinking perhaps even beyond phase 4 into like phase 5.
Oh wow, so long.
Yeah, I think so. And I think because as we discussed perhaps off camera, I think they can't go with a villain that is really badder than Thanos, you know?
Because what's worse,
yeah,
and it raises the stakes too.
Yeah, exactly, and he killed half the universe, you know? So instead they must give us a villain that is kind of like an anti-villain in some sense, you know? And that is like sympathetic, and I think that is what's gonna happen. Or like that's why they did this like sympathetic backstory in the last episode. So I think she will defeat Agatha, like thoroughly, because like Agatha will be part and parcel to her kids vanishing, and then I think Vision will vanish also, and I think then like Wanda will snap, and she will kind of like, for lack of better description, to like go in, like scourge into like the multiverse to like try to find ways to like bring her kids back, and that will be like the premise of the Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness movie, that she's like
in the multiverse.
Well, I mean, obviously she's in the multiverse. Even now, everyone's in the multiverse, even us. But more that she's like trying to like sort of like leverage the fact that the multiverse exists as a way to like create or like bring her kids back, and perhaps even bring Vision back, and that this is having like serious ripple effects. I also think that there will be like a moment in the end where the hex, like the hexagon, doesn't like just disappear. It kind of like disappears outward. So there's this like radiation explosion.
I also really imagine that.
Yeah, and I don't think we will like know what.
So you don't think we're gonna find out what that means?
Yeah.
Yes, I think that I feel they're setting up for this hex explosion.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder if they will show what happens, as it traverses.
I think it's as you said, they will probably like show something that would be hard to interpret because they're trying to set up a lot from this.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, they want to keep the ambiguity.
Yeah. I also think there's like a 50-50 that either one of these will appear. I think it's possible that white vision or grey vision or silver vision will, when entering the hex, actually reveal himself as Ultron.
Ooh. That would be cool.
Yeah, because Wanda controls the appearance of things within that reality, right? And I don't think she would want him to look like Vision. I think he will look like Ultron. It might even be, and I think that's quite probable. I think this is what I'm saying now. It's less probable. It might even be said that some of his software is based on Ultron. Because presumably when they reignited Vision, the reignited Vision would require some like elaborate software, because the software of Vision was like really damaged because Thanos literally ripped out part of the software, and part of the software was also in the Infinity Stone, which is there no more. So perhaps they got some of the software from Ultron from one of the bodies, in Avengers 8 Ultron. What do you think about that?
That spooks me out.
Spooks you out.
Everything about the Vision concept is spooky, because you were saying you think that they were gonna make Sentinels, right?
Yeah.
That was in some video you watched, and you were also agreeing that this is a future direction for S.W.O.R.D.
Definitely.
The Sentinel program is very scary.
Very scary, yeah.
Ultron is very scary.
Yeah.
Evil Vision, or White Vision, seems very scary.
Yeah.
So, I think those things are just like somehow spookier to me than Scarlet Witch, almost.
Yeah.
The
vision of white men have always been scary,
It's a good point.
So I think that's like quite likely to happen. I also think it's like quite likely that if we don't get that, we'll get a Doctor Strange cameo in the end.
Yeah. I just don't see it.
You don't see it?
Like, I know a lot of people have said it's gonna happen, and I can see plausibly how it all happens. But in my heart, just speaking from a pure intuition, I really don't sense the appearance of Doctor Strange here.
Yeah.
Maybe in a mid-credit scene.
Yeah, I'm thinking post-credit cameo for sure.
But that does not even count as a cameo.
I don't know if it counts as a
that's
cameo.
more like a teaser for the next
point.
movie, really.
Yeah, I think that we'll get a tease for the Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange in there as a post-credit. So I think it's a 50% chance that we get a Doctor Strange tease in a post-credit scene. And I think it's like a 50% chance that White Vision appears as Ultron. to normal vision.
But these are really good predictions, Faye.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
You're so. I feel these are like really on point.
The final things in terms of prediction is what, and this is actually like the one where like I don't know, like, so I'm sure that either the good scenario will unfold or the bad scenario will unfold, and I'm pretty sure it's like significantly more likely that the bad scenario unfolds.
The Wanda being the bad guy.
Wanda ending up as the bad guy due to her having like a even more traumatic ending here. But what I don't, and I'm pretty sure about like the whole vision stuff and like how this ties into multiverse madness. What I don't know is what they're gonna do with Quicksilver. I just don't know.
Yeah, but also Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
And also Darcy, she was in there. And
Yeah.
like, was that just for fun?
Yeah. I mean, she'll probably have something to do, and I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm like in either scenario, we'll see Monica Rambeau's power for sure. And so they'll set up her as a superhero going forth. Probably like one of the.
I don't think they would get rid of Quicksilver.
Right?
It's just, I think you said that in one of our discussions that it doesn't make sense to take somebody who's so beloved.
Yeah.
And get rid of him. But then again, you're saying
because Disney's all about that money.
But
people,
you're also
you know.
saying that you think they will disintegrate Catherine Hahn, and she is a big fan favorite in this show.
That's true. But I think there's a difference. They didn't know she would be a big fan favorite. Because to be fair, she isn't like mega popular.
No, and I agree. I mean, she's kind of so. She's exactly like so good that you can use her for kind of this, one-time character.
Yeah. And also Marvel, they have no problem getting rid of like top actor villains. Get rid of Mads Mikkelsen, get rid of Michael B. Jordan.
No, but he'll come back.
So I mean,
well, I
so
don't
yeah.
think they got rid of him. He probably realized that he could just do better.
I don't know.
I mean, not better than the Black Panther franchise. That's true. But I meant more. Do you know what I mean? No.
They just like killing off their villains.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I guess I feel that they set up a whole new mythology with Agatha, and it is a different level of backstory. Of course, each villain has a backstory, but here it's witchcraft, it's the runes, it's all of those things she has in her basement. So it feels like it would be a big thing to kill her off now.
Yeah.
But then again, I also agree with you. They have so much intellectual property kind of to play with.
Yeah.
So they don't need to. I mean, that's great, right? They have an abundance. They don't have this scarcity mindset. So they don't need to hold on to the good actor playing the interesting character because they can get 50 more of those. And that's I think I love so much about the Marvel Universe that I think people who are not into Marvel really don't appreciate is this just how much resources they have in terms of ideas, characters, people they can hire, concepts they can play with.
Yeah. But do you agree that either it will be the case that Agatha survives and Wanda gets a happy ending, she survives and Wanda gets a happy ending, or she dies, and in the scenario where she dies, it's bad ending for Wanda.
What about Agatha and Wanda team up and escape together into the multiverse?
Oh, they team up? That would be kind of crazy. Oh, okay, so it would be something where perhaps Sword is the reason her children and Vision dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Agatha realizes she can't really defeat Wanda at all, so she's that could be something. I mean, that would be crazy though. That would be a bit too crazy.
That's my prediction.
That's your prediction?
That's my new prediction, because if that's true, it's gonna make my heart sing. But if it doesn't happen, that's okay, because it's not reasonable to expect.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a spicy prediction.
But I really can see Agatha and Wanda in kind of an escape plot. Maybe even Quicksilver comes with them.
Oh, maybe, okay, because I was just going to bring this back to Quicksilver. Because we both agree, just from the perspective of that cash money, it doesn't make this any sense to let go of Evan Peters.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
That having Agatha and Quicksilver escape with Scarlet Witch leaves more ambiguity, right? Then they don't need to decide right now what they're going to do with Quicksilver and Agatha.
That's more. Yeah, because then they could wait to see the reaction.
And they can always kind of backdoor get rid of them in the universe of madness in some sort of 10-second flashback. You know, they disintegrated into the multiverse.
Okay, that's very good. That's a very good point. I think that's really, really good. I don't think that exactly will happen. It would be crazy if it did. But I think you brought up a really good point, which is that now I know what they will do with Quicksilver. And it's that they will leave it open. What happens to him, right? There won't be any...
one way or the other, because maybe he escapes the hex somehow. With sword. Like,
I mean, we'll be like really open. We won't even like know at the end whether he is actually Quicksilver, like from the same entity that appeared as Quicksilver in the Fox universe, or whether he was just a random guy, because they will have wanted to wait to see how the fans thought about it.
It's so boring to make predictions based on this game theory way, but game theoretically
that's what makes sense.
They gain the most by being super ambiguous with it. Because another thing, right, is that they love to leave you hanging a bit, but they don't want to leave you hanging too much. I mean, in some ways they do, but do you know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah, they do want people to be happy.
Yeah.
And leaving the Quicksilver line ambiguous, that's a lower cost to the viewers. It's like, oh, we haven't found out, but it's not a burning question.
And then, of course, like if it turned out that like all the viewers reacted really badly when Evan Peters appeared, and everyone was like, well, why are you doing this? This is so cheesy. They could just like... you know, but given that the reaction is really good, they will probably have this open ending, and then in the future they will like tie him back in as like the real Quicksilver.
We're so good.
So there you have it, folks. There is either gonna be, we think there's a good ending, which is Wanda defeats Agatha, Vision merges with White Vision to become real again, the kids survive, because perhaps Wanda like shoots out the hex everywhere, so her kids can live inside it. And you know, they set up Wanda to be actually the main hero. We think that one is less likely, and so we think the bad scenario is more likely. And now we will get like a very novel take on the bad scenario, which is that there's this team up sequence between Wanda, Quicksilver, and Agatha. And yeah, that's basically our predictions, right?
Yeah, I think they were really good. You were really good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching, and you know, we're so excited to see how it all plays out. Bye.
Bye.